Yesterday I had a beautiful hit, as my friend likes to call it. My friend who blessed me with this sacred medicine pouch this morning, and also blessed and gave me sacred tobacco to offer to the sacred trees here in the forest that I frequent in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the download yesterday that I want to share with you today was there's this theoretical idea that I have about cycles and seasons that I talk about often, and allowing ourselves to go through the different cycles and seasons and loving them all equally. And yesterday, really being in relationship with my body and seeing where my body is at now, I came into a whole new download and understanding of it. So 2 days ago, I went to a really beautiful, powerful center here for affordable community health. It's called Cempa Community Healthcare. I'll send a link to it. It's an amazing community resource here in Chattanooga. And as I've been entering into the lifestyle of polyamory and ethical, consensual, direct communication around sharing multiple intimate relationships with people. And I'll talk more about this on this channel if you're interested to hear about it. It's been a really beautiful practice for me to actually enter into in safe space. Part of that community is very much about communicating sexual health and knowing sexual health, whether penetration is happening or not. Just being really aware of sexual health. So I went to get tested, and this was the first time in a long time that I've been to a Western medicine doctor, and they had a scale there, and I haven't weighed myself in a really long time. And, theoretically tell myself that I don't care about numbers. I don't care about things like that. And I could feel myself very triggered around this because it was going to be a definitive measurement that would be hard to reconcile the feeling of my body with, which the feeling of my body has very much been of great strength. I've been running every day, doing push-ups and squats and lots of barefoot trail hikes and just feeling really, really strong. And I also have been aware that my body is bigger than it has been in the past, I'll just say that. Cycles and seasons. And so I got on the scale and it said I weighed 164 pounds at 5'11". And actually stayed really regulated during this. So it's not that I had a spiral. I just want to share this with you because in the past I've, weighed anywhere from more like 148 to maybe 155. And there have probably been times in that disordered eating has been present, whether consciously or unconsciously. And that as far as actual feminine health, I have not been healthy. And I feel really healthy right now. Maybe I feel a little bit heavier than I would like for my total lithe athleticism. And I think I'm also being a lot more generous and nourishing to my feminine body that I do hope will one day physically carry a child, and that I don't wish to starve for the sake of it looking a certain way versus feeling a certain way. And so I just wanted to share this because I instantly went to this place of it's not okay to weigh that much. Well, not instantly. I kind of gradually went to this place of it's not okay to weigh this much. It's not okay to be this big, because I'm a very big person. I mean, I'm 5'11". My shoulders are broad. I'm large if you meet me in person. And I think that there has been some unconscious shame and conscious around being too big. And maybe that part of my wanting to be very, very lean. And there have been times that that's been more natural for me. There have also been times when it's been more coerced. And again, I would say disordered. I would say not getting enough nutrients and riding that line. And that maybe part of that has been around being uncomfortable with being so big. just in every way, right? And my body also is a metaphor for the bigness of my personality, the bigness of my energy, the bigness of what I have to offer to the world. And so I found myself going to this place of like, okay, well, that's where I am now. And then I just need to lose weight again, not like I'm going to weigh myself, but like, okay, well, that's where I am. And then from there, I get smaller because that will be more comfortable. That will be more acceptable. I must always be the lowest weight that I've ever been. Like these kinds of culturally conditioned, probably generational ancestral thoughts. And yesterday, as I was getting ready to go spend some time with some dear friends, I really had this hit of like, I don't know what will happen in the future with my body. I do know that I'm taking really beautiful care of my body in a lot of ways right now, and that I feel really, really good in my body and very just strong and fecund and like both voluptuous and full of virile, is that the right word? Strength. And, my skin, my nails, my hair, I feel radiant in so many ways. I'm eating well. I'm coming to great temperance with smoking and drinking and really any kind of substances. And I just feel good. And so what I realized was, this is a season of my body. It's not about getting back down to that weight or getting back down to, like this measurable lowest that I've ever been for other people to gaze upon, and based on the narrative that we're sold in mainstream media, feel is more acceptable or more easily attractive or even less intimidating because it's smaller. And therefore in some ways weaker. And I'm not saying that people who are smaller than me are weaker. It's more like what the intention is. I do think that there's a weakness associated with the intention of making oneself smaller, and a dimming of power and a dimming of vitality. And so it was this feeling of, this is it right now. It's not about this, okay, now that you know where you are, then work out more, be more conscious of what you eat less, just be more aware of then being on the journey to be 10 pounds lighter. And it's actually unbelievable to me to get on a scale like that and know that I weigh 15 pounds more than I've weighed at certain times in the past, because, well, and again, I just have such a big body. It's kind of, again, just unbelievable to me that I could feel this good and strong and healthy and, in my opinion, look this good, and that's 15 pounds heavier than I like thought I had to be. Basically, like 150 was sort of this idea of like, that's the weight that's okay for me, which I think also just gives credence to the fact that like weighing ourselves in that sort of like top down outside measurement put upon my body is total fucking bullshit. And I'm thankful for it because it brought me to these realizations. Just this, it's not about getting back down to a certain weight or a certain goal or making myself look a certain way or making myself smaller or getting back to past versions of myself that I've been. It's actually about loving my body in every phase that I'm in. And that feels especially doable to me right now because I'm taking such good care of myself. I think it's been harder in times in the past months where I have felt that my body, like I really am eating too much in a way that's making me kind of sick, like emotional eating and smoking too much or drinking too much or not getting enough sleep or not really exercising to the degree of intensity that I'd like to. And then I don't feel good in my body. It's harder for sure to accept those cycles and seasons. Like if I had gotten on a scale and seen that I weighed 164, 170 pounds then, I think it would have been harder to call that as bullshit. Like to be like, okay, well, whatever weight I am on a scale really doesn't matter. However, taking this good of care of myself and seeing that that's how much I weigh, it's kind of like, well, then this is how much my body wants to weigh. Like, this is how my body wants to be. This is what my body is like when I am being very consciously and intensely active every day, eating healthy, and just living a really grounded, earthy, healthy life. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you are at. I could just stop there. I want to encourage you wherever you're at. I really do. I want to give you permission to love your body in the shape that it's in now, because it'll never be in the shape again that it's in today. Like, that was kind of my realization of, like, whatever happens, maybe I will go back into cycles and seasons where my body becomes leaner and a little less voluptuous than it is now. Maybe I'll be pregnant one day. Maybe I'll go in cycles and seasons where my body's a lot more voluptuous and less muscular than it is now. And this right now is one of the cycles and seasons. It's not about always being the skinniest I've ever been. And this may seem obvious to some of you, and I really invite you to not leave comments that are trying to validate me, because that's not what I'm asking for. And cognitively, I realize that these narratives are bullshit. And I invite you, before giving all this advice and saying things that don't matter, to actually go deeper with exploring your own feelings around this. Because as much as I cognitively understand these things, there's very deep conditioning in my body in this lifetime, as well as ancestrally and generationally, that tells me that I need to be small and thin and sort of deprive myself in order to do that. And this is me giving you permission to be with those things and not need to think that you know all the answers, or you've made it all the way, or you're over all that societal programming, because I know I'm not. And I'm blessed to be on the journey where I am, and I'm blessed to be able to share this from such a regulated, honest, authentic place with you, and to have the courage to do so. And so I want to bless your body at whatever cycle and season that it's at. And especially if you're in a female body, if you're a womb holder or you identify as a woman, to practice seeing your body as an emanation of the goddess. An emanation of the goddess. And to know that she wishes to take every shape and form, to be in every cycle and season, and to change shapes like the moon. And like my friend Claire said, to be round like the moon. And like my friend Emily talks about, for every part of that cycle, every part of that shape to be okay. And just for the sake of celebrating my body in a non-sexualized and goddessy way, this is what it looks like to look what I'm talking about. Strong. Strong. Bigger. Stronger. Maybe faster. Thank you for being part of this journey with me, and may this find you, instead of trying to get back to the best or do more to be better or get to some end goal of something comparable, measurable, judgeable, gazeable from the outside, to really feel what it's like to be this emanation of the goddess in the physical right now. Whatever size you are, whatever age you are, wherever you are in your journey of overall health. I love you. Thank you. Blessings.